Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. Renaissance is a band with a rich history, unique unto themselves as progressive rock pioneers who rose from the ashes of the seminal UK rock band, the Yardbirds. Acclaimed for their unique blending of progressive rock with classical and symphonic influences, the band's career has now spanned over 50 years, spearheaded by the five-octave voice of Annie Haslam, and the masterful songwriting skills, of course, of Michael Dunford. They are widely considered to be the band that most successfully and routinely utilized the sound of a full orchestra in their recordings. The band has toured throughout the world and has performed at Carnegie Hall with the New York Philharmonic Orchestra, and additionally at the Royal Albert Hall, again with the Royal Philharmonic and Royal Chorale Society. Renaissance had a top 10 hit in the UK with their song Northern Lights that still demands airplay to this day. Please welcome singer, songwriter, arranger, intuitive, abstract, expressionist, painter, best known as the magnificent and legendary voice of progressive rock group Renaissance, Annie Haslam, to Interviewing the Legends. Hello again, Annie.
Oh, hi, Ray. How are you?
Good. How are things in Bucks County?
Well, actually, it looks like a beautiful day today. I think it's going to get a bit warmer tonight. It's been chilly at night, but yeah, everything's all over the shop, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Where you go, it's like, but it's lovely here. All the trees are coming out, and it's very nice.
I miss that kind of scenery because I'm originally from DC, and I've been to Bucks County. We used to take the kids over there to the Sesame Place.
Yeah.
And I've been in Florida now for 20 years, so all I see is palm trees, but it's always 80 degrees here.
I've been here for 23 years or 24 years. It's the longest I've ever lived anywhere in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you get to go to England much, or?
No, I was due to go over and see my brother, but that's not going to happen until later in the year. So no, I don't. I went over there the last time.
Mm-hmm.
That was January 2020, January, before the pandemic.
Right.
I went to edit the DVD, the 50th anniversary DVD we did, and that's that's the last time I was over there. I had a great time because the guy was then living in Cornwall, which is where I did the editing.
Right.
It was right where my brother was living at the time, and also a school friend I hadn't seen for God knows how many years, because I grew up in Cornwall when we moved from Lancashire. Went to Cornwall for my mother's health.
Yep.
And so I got to visit some of the old places, and it's very different, more commercialized now, but it was lovely to be there. So I did that. That's the last time I was over there. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm definitely going to go and see my brother later in the year, but not for work. I doubt now.
I didn't realize, and I found this out when you were in the fashion industry. When the Beatles performed on top of the roof, you actually watched them, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I
didn't. That's on the internet.
I know it is. I mean, it's not on the internet that I wrote a lot of songs that I didn't write. People just don't put the right information, and it gets you in trouble.
Yeah.
No, I was down in the street.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I meant. You were down in the street. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because people were saying I was up there, and somebody said, "I recognize you in the photograph." I thought, really?
Now, Alan Parsons was up on the roof.
Oh, was it?
I talked to Alan not long ago, and he was up on the roof. He's a cool guy. He's done so much.
We just did Beyond the Blue Cruise.
That's right. Yeah.
And he was on there. That's the first time I've met him. I sort of met him at Abbey Road when we were recording at Abbey Road, and he was doing engineering at that time.
Right.
And I think we might have just popped in to say hello because he was in the middle of doing something. But that's the only time I met him. And then this next time was, God, how many years is that? But what a nice man, and the show was fantastic.
He's a good guy. Oh, by the way, somebody that I think a friend of yours I'm going to be interviewing next week, David Minassian. Is that how you say his name?
Minassian.
Yeah.
Minassian. Yes, I did some work with him. Yeah, in the last
Yeah.
couple.
We're talking next week, as a matter of fact.
He was on the cruise.
He was on the cruise too. He does a
Yeah,
lot with Alan Parsons too.
yeah, and
Yeah.
just he does a lot of Justin's video work, I
Hmm.
think. Yeah,
Nice
good guy.
guy. Really nice
Yeah,
guy.
he asked me to sing. Well, actually, I co-wrote a song with him
Hmm.
a couple of years ago, and Sound of Dreams, and we had Steve Hackett on it,
Hmm.
Billy Sherwood. It came out fantastic, actually. Yeah, it was a lovely song. Yeah,
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you on Poetry of the Birds because I love that duet with Flavio, right?
yeah, yes.
Is it Flavio Venturini? Because that sounds Italian, but he's actually in Brazil, right?
He's Brazilian. Yeah,
Yeah,
Fabio Venturini.
Venturini. Okay, because it
Yeah,
sounds so Italian, you know.
yeah.
Um, did you meet him when you were on tour, or
Oh well, there's a lot of musicians in Brazil, in the prog world particularly, were big fans of Renaissance.
right?
Flavio was in a prog band, a very famous prog band. I can't think of the name, I'm
Hmm.
afraid. But a lot of people out there would be able to find it and would probably know it. And he was in this well-known prog band. And so what happened was, let me think. I ended up with going to. It was actually in 2001. Yeah, 2001. Actually, we went.
Hmm.
At about when do we go? We went in late September, after 9/11.
Right.
We've got this tour set up to play with his band, his solo band. He became a solo artist. Fabulous band, unbelievable musicians in Brazil are amazing. I mean,
Hmm.
they're amazing all over the world, but there's something a different flavor to the playing and music, But we went and we did, I think, 6 shows with Flavio and his band, and did several Renaissance pieces and some of his, and we wrote a song together for it, and
Hmm.
we played it live, but we never recorded it. So when we went to Brazil this last year in 2022, we were supposed
Right.
to go in 2020, and that was cancelled, and we signed a contract, so we had to go. I mean, not that we didn't want to go. So we fulfilled that. We went to Brazil and we did 4 shows, I believe, with Curved Air. We're on the same bill opening up
Hmm.
for us. They're fabulous. And so I thought, well, the best. I spoke to Flavio ahead of time, and we both agreed that we could get a studio together, and I stay on for an extra 10 days and stay with my friend Carlos, which is what I did, and then we recorded in Sono Stereo, I think it is. It's a studio that's on top of a mountain. It's just, oh my God, it was just, and it was my birthday. We recorded on my birthday.
Oh, cool.
And so it was very special, very special. It was nestled right on top of this mountain range.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've never been to Brazil, but I would love to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. I mean,
Mhm.
if you go, you have to go with somebody who speaks Brazilian Portuguese,
Right.
because it would be very difficult otherwise. But the people are wonderful. The food is amazing.
Hmm.
It's like most countries nowadays. There's a lot of unsettling things going on
Yeah.
wherever you, but it's still a wonderful place. It's one of my favorite places in the world to go. But and then we recorded that, and yeah, it came out really beautiful, didn't
It
it?
did.
Our
Beautiful.
voices sound so good
Yeah,
together.
you guys mesh well together. I hope you do some more music with them. That'd
Yeah,
be
I,
great.
I hope so. And of course, Marcus
Yeah.
Viana, who's the violinist, I've known him years as well, but
Right.
actually, in fact, yes, I did. Another time I went to Brazil,
Hmm.
I went there to do one show
Hmm.
with this band called Sagrado. He's got a progressive band called Sagrado, apart
Hmm.
from lots of other things he does. He does lots of music for movies, and mainly the soap operas, they're very popular out there,
Right.
and all kinds of things. He's always playing. He's a brilliant violin player. He's brilliant. And so yes, he saw him. He came to the show in Belo Horizonte. I remember that when we were there, and yeah, he was on the recording, and yeah, that wonderful musicians, fantastic.
I know you have a special place in your heart for Brazil and Portugal as well, right?
Well, not Portugal, no,
No?
no.
Okay. Well, that's another internet faux pas.
We played there
It says you
once.
love Portugal as well.
We played. Oh, hang on a minute. No, no, no. Beg your pardon. No, I mean it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably wrote something on my Facebook page. We did a tour in 2015 of Europe. We went to England.
Right.
We went to Brussels. We went to Belgium. We went to Germany. When I got to Germany, in like an hour before sound check, when everything was all set, I got this terrible bacteria in my throat.
Oh,
Something.
wow.
Oh, it was awful. I was on fire. Couldn't do the show.
Mm,
People had come from all over Europe to see us at
that's
this
a
venue,
shame. Yeah.
and people were really upset. But there's nothing I could. It was awful. I remember Rave, my keyboard player, went on stage and
Right.
told everybody, came off. He was in tears. He said, "Annie, it's just the worst thing he had to say, really, to everybody."
That's
But
a
there was
shame.
nothing we could do. From there, we went to. I think we went to Israel next. Yeah, we played in Tel Aviv. We played in just played in Tel Aviv. That was just one show, I think. Was it one show or two? I think it was just one show. That was phenomenal. That was great. It was open air, and it was like you could hear all the birds, and it was actually by a zoo.
Oh,
And
wow. Jeez.
yeah, but not like with elephants and tigers and things. You didn't hear that, but you heard lots of other things in the background. I'd be saying something, it's like all the birds and animals were talking back. It was all the flowers on the tree. It was fabulous. Yeah. And so we did that, and then we went to Portugal, and we stayed. It was Gouveia, or Gouveia, I think it's called, and it was on top of like not a big mountain range, but it was high up,
Right.
the village and everything, and the views were phenomenal. And we got there like 3 days before the show. And we, they actually paid for it. The promoters paid for it. It was wonderful. And we played it. It was a weekend of like prog music. Trying to think who else. There was another band. I don't think was it Curved Air that were coming in after us? But whoever it was, we missed. We missed them because we were leaving. But and it was in an old cinema, beautiful venue. I mean, I think you can see it online. You can look it up. And it was a lot of fun, and we stayed in this fabulous. Have you ever seen Fawlty Towers? Well, it was a little bit like Fawlty Towers, a little bit like Fawlty Towers, and it was every day. We were there before the day of the show. Was a bit more careful. You could have whatever you wanted. All the food was free, and the wine.
Lots of wine.
But all through the day, they did these snacks, and like we were all eating these amazing toasted cheese sandwiches for a bottle of wine. 2 days, and we did visit a winery. That was fabulous. That was a beautiful day, and then the show was really, really great. The audience were wonderful, and of course, I think somebody contacted me. Was it last year? Yeah, I think contacted me last year to see if I could take Renaissance out there again, because they just started doing the things, but that we couldn't get over there just for one show. It tied in with everything that we're doing. So we did Israel, and that was it. Then we flew back home. It was a great tour, actually. England was great because we hadn't played there for.
How's your Portuguese? Can you speak Portuguese?
I can say macaco, which is a monkey. I can say bom. Is it bom? Which is that thank you or no? Is it good or I don't know. Very little.
Yeah. Muito obrigado. That's the only thing I know.
Yeah, obrigado.
Obrigado. Ciao.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's very difficult to say, that one, isn't it? Really? Ciao. Yeah, no, I think though, if I'd stayed there, when I'm with Carlos, and I've stayed with him before,
Right.
he's the one who took us down there all
Yep.
those years ago. So I've known him for forever. He's like a brother to me. So if I stayed with him maybe a couple of months, I'm sure I would start picking things
Oh
up,
yeah.
which you do. It's just,
Yeah. The Blue Cruise, that was pretty cool. I probably interviewed everybody on that cruise.
Oh, did you?
Most likely, yeah. I looked at the lineup. I said, I had him on my show. I had that guy on my show.
Did you go
Yeah.
on the cruise?
I did not. I'm due for a cruise,
Oh, I see.
So, and there's so many music cruises out there nowadays, so
Yeah.
you're not going to be there next year though, right?
I don't
2024?
know. We've
No?
not been invited
Okay.
yet. I don't know if they've already put it up. It's nearly all the same people that did the last
Yeah,
one, but we're not.
exactly.
So I don't know. Who knows?
Annie, Prague Rock is as strong as ever. I mean, there are so many great bands out there now. And I've been following a lot of Prague Rock bands from all over the world, and I get them on my show so they can have more exposure here in the US. There's Ben Craven, who I love, Jonas Lindberg, Big Train, Cairo with Rob Cottingham, RPWL, Andy Glass from Solstice, he's back again, Ross Jennings from Haken, Phil Collins' son, Simon, he's doing E Molecule. And Arjen Lucassen, he's got a new album. Everybody's got a new album out, which is incredible.
Yeah, that's great.
I am so happy because me, I love Prague Rock. That's my favorite. So
I think that if I was still living in England, well,
right.
I'm not. So everything would be completely different. I might not have even started painting. Your life would have been different.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think that we'd be working constantly.
Right.
Because except, and I know it's a little bit more, I mean, people are doing it, going out there. I mean, Wishbone Ash, for instance, have been playing out and every day, there's somewhere over there. It is possible. I think you have to pare your band down, though, because of the cost. And also, I don't know whether they're doing this thing which did start to happen, but it still is, that if you go from one country to another, you have to have a carnet to go through all your equipment.
Right.
And you have to, every time you get to a border, some places you have to take everything out of the truck.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's going on now, but obviously the smaller your band is, you get have the equipment set up for you. You don't, you just take your guitars and stuff.
Right.
And that's the way to go, really.
Yeah, Europe has gotten tougher to go from one country to another.
Because of Brexit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it has messed a lot of things up.
Yeah. So what's next for Renaissance and you solo wise? What do you?
Well, I first of all, this year I'm doing my Christmas show at Sellersville again.
Okay.
I don't have the date yet. Which I do every year. I may do more this year. I'm not sure if because we can't tour in the fall because this is really it was a kind of a shock, really. But we were speaking with our agent in New York a couple of months back, and I said, we've decided, obviously we want to do this tour in the fall again, the orchestra. And he said, and he got back and he said, well, no, he told me then, I think soon after, that all the venues that we play have all been taken for the fall, and they were booked last fall. They were all taken.
Wow.
So we could do smaller venues for less money,
right?
And that's not what we want to do, because we've built up this, the momentum with the orchestra. We can't start going and do clubs just to go out and play. That's not who we are. It's not, it doesn't work like that.
Sure.
So we're looking at a tour next year, probably a farewell tour next year.
Really? Don't say that.
Well,
well,
do the math, please. But we're talking about doing that. So whether that's going to happen, I don't know. I do have something coming up with my friend Jan Close.
He's a good guy. I've had him on the show. Yeah.
He's
I like
very
Jan.
talented, yeah. And yeah, we recorded Don't Give Up.
Hmm.
Hear that online. Very proud of that, how that came out. And we've written another song together, but he's doing a show. He's got an album. I think his new album is called Surrender. It's
Hmm.
brilliant. He's just it's like his writing's incredible.
Yeah.
But
He's
he's
one
got
of,
the whole package. You know what I mean? He's a great guy, looks great,
yeah.
and he's a great songwriter, and his voice is magnificent. He's got
Yeah.
everything. So he's doing a show at the Sellersville Theatre. I think
Hmm.
it's May 25th on a Thursday. It's 25th or 26th. Have you got a calendar in front of you? Anyway, I'm going to be his guest on there.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah, so we're going to do a few things together.
There's so many artists like him that are so talented, but they're not, because of the music industry today, you're not going to hear that much about him. You know what I mean? Like Ben Craven, he's in Australia. He made some great music, and not too many people know him here, you know, but I'm a big fan, you know, just like Jan. I love Jan too.
Yeah,
He's a great artist, you
yeah.
know?
He never stops working. You know, he's
Yeah.
constantly working. So
Yeah.
he's not afraid of working for sure. But he's and he's up. He's really up to date with
Hmm.
what's streaming and all that kind of stuff, which
Exactly.
goes over my head and goes over there. I mean, there's too many things to think about,
You do
but,
a lot on your own though. You know,
well,
that's,
I not,
you really
I mean,
do. I think you
right now,
do.
what am I doing there? What have I done on my own?
Well, touring in the
Well,
past,
I
you
mean,
know?
after I took the reins over after Paul
Yeah,
Dim passed away, and we've done quite a lot of things.
right.
Um, I think that if we'd have pared the band down a bit, we could have gone further afield. But then, before the pandemic hit, the momentum was really rising. It was amazing.
I
The
know.
band was amazing, and then all of a sudden, everything just all that momentum had gone, all that work for all of us, everybody, and
Everybody. Yeah,
everybody, not just musicians.
yeah,
It was everybody.
yeah.
And so that was that. I had a very bad time with that, losing all that,
I know.
and I couldn't really paint. I didn't really just have the heart to. It was just a mess. But I think that now I want to really focus on my art,
Okay.
take it to the next level. Really, that's
How
what I
about
want.
how about a new Renaissance album?
Well, are you going to pay for it? See, everything
Well, let's
costs
do a
money.
fundraiser.
No, we
You know?
just did one.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, no. Well, having said that, of course, we've got what we did in the fall.
Right.
Recorded for a double CD,
Hmm.
and in the show that we did, we had the orchestra,
Hmm.
and I did. I think there's at least 4 or 5 my solo songs in there
Okay.
with orchestra, like the Angels Cry with orchestra.
Right.
And the Donovan and Ananda, they didn't use Blessing in Disguise as it was reaching out from the
Hmm.
Intergalactic Touring Band with orchestra. Oh my God. And then I just felt that I really wanted to do that. And then I didn't, people were saying, well, would you call it a legacy? Well, I'm still the singer and I'm part of the legacy. And
Right.
I think that I just felt like I wanted some people to hear some of my solo things as well,
Sure.
that might not know about them, and so that's why we did that. So we're working on getting finishing up the production of that now. So that's going to be coming
Okay.
out probably the end of May, beginning of June, a bit longer than we thought. We did get an Indiegogo crowdfunding thing
Hmm.
together for it, which was great, and that's how a lot of people, the bands get their things done now.
They all do.
Yeah.
They all do. Yeah.
We're at what they call a heritage band, and I'm very proud
Right.
of it. So it's not, the music. I mean, there is some great music coming out, but whether it sees the light of day, who knows? But I think that the kids are, the ones who are going to succeed will succeed because they'll never give up. They'll probably
Right.
make it.
Right. You got
And
such
then
a great band too,
oh, the band
great
is great
musicians.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all the way through when we've had people coming in and out. They've been
Right.
fantastic.
Yeah. So that's
And
what's missing in commercial radio, the great musicians, the great guitar player, the great, singers, it's everything's poppy and
Yeah.
it's been going on for too long already. It's time for a change,
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a top 40 DJ back in the late 70s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I can recognize a hit, and I see a lot of hits with these prog guys, these
Right.
new guys, but like you said, they're not going to get the light of day, which
Yeah.
is a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you should collaborate with some of the up and coming prog guys too,
Well, I think that this time where I am now, when I look at what I've done a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
I regret that I didn't have an opportunity when I was younger to be on people's albums or do
Yeah.
duets with people. It just never happened,
Yeah.
Whose fault it was, I don't know, but most people collaborated and,
Yeah.
but and there is competitiveness in the music business as well, particularly
Right.
amongst female singers. And I won't mention names, but kind of upsetting the people that you'd really look up to and have kind of
Yeah.
look down on you because, well, I think, well, I must be better than you, then you don't like it. Something stupid like that, which doesn't bother me. I've never been competitive, and I'm not,
Right.
but I think it's my time to look at my art now because I love it as much as singing. And then we'll plan something for next year. If anything comes in before then, the cruise comes up again or whatever, we'll do that. The thing was, Jan is the only one that I'm going to be doing, but for now. But I've got lots of painting to do. I've got to do some commissions for the Indiegogo project that I've started, and so I'm happy about that. I think it's the best way to go. I mean, I can still sing, but I'm not going to go looking for it because I need to. If it's not going to come, I've wasted all that time. I need to.
Right.
I need to move on to something else, and it's obviously my art.
I do mention you with the up and coming prog bands, and you're like a hero to them.
Oh,
Everybody knows you, so yeah.
I'll be getting agony letters.
They go,
Auntie,
Annie? Wow.
Let's write to Auntie Annie for some advice about our band. How can you sing with 5 octaves? How does she do it?
They all love you,
Yeah,
I don't know. Women, as you get older, your voice gets better for some reason,
Well,
it doesn't happen with men.
I did an interview with somebody, and the guy said, "Great, your voice never dropped." I said, "Pal." I said, he said, because women's voices usually drop as they get older, right? And it's true, I guess.
Yeah.
But my mother's voice was like this,
Right?
And for her whole life. So thanks, Mom. Yeah. I mean, she probably could have been a singer. I think my dad was an amateur comedian singer, as you know, but my mother, she used to call me in the street. I used to go out playing when I was a little girl, and I hear this in the background. Tea time, perfect. I can hear her voice.
Yeah.
Just this beautiful voice, like Angel's voice coming out. So, but she never knew she could sing. But my brother did. He was managed by Brian Epstein. Another story.
I have an aunt and a cousin that sung opera.
Oh,
and they were both powerful, beautiful voices. All
did
of
it
them.
professionally?
No, my aunt was so good, but she always put herself down. She was one of those people. So I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to try.
Oh,
I'm
no,
not
you
good
can't.
enough.
You're going to say, I'm going to make it. Because then you're affirming that it's not going to happen.
Exactly. She put that negativity in her mind and it never happened. Yeah. So it's a shame because she had a beautiful voice. Let me talk about your art. I think I saw a picture with you and David, and your dress was that one of those that you that was your artwork?
Well, it was. Funny enough, Ileana, I never get it name right. Ileana going to kill me. Androvich, Androvich, it's close, something like that.
Something like that.
She. I met her a few years ago, and she
Right.
painter, and she has all the equipment. It's a lot of stuff to print her paintings on silk.
Right.
And so I went to her, and then she printed out the fabric and made me a dress. That
Amazing.
was, one of the ones where I wore a black velvet jacket over the top and like that. So anyway, what I did for one of the 50th anniversary, that's right, for the pledges was, we printed out a tie, edition silk tie with the ashes of burning, part of the ashes of burning painting on it, which was all over the DVD before that, and we offered scarves as well.
I love your scarves, by the way.
Yeah,
so they're beautiful.
Yeah, and so it was just one scarf. It says Annie Haslam on it, then it says ashes are burning, because it's for the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
So she printed them out for me, and I did a certain number, and then she did one lot, and she said, Annie, she said, I've printed these, and she showed me, she said, but the color isn't right. I said, could you still want them? I said, no. Because it's not the painting, it was more like purpley pink, and I said, and then so I left it, and she said that's fine. So she printed others, and they were okay. But so she had these, and what she did, she didn't tell me she was doing it. She fashioned this design on this dress designer from the 50s, I think it was. I don't know the name, I can't remember. And it was an unusual dress, but it had a tie at the front. I didn't like it, but anyway, I went and I saw it online. She put it online on a Facebook page, and she said it was inspired by me, and it was the painting, blah, blah, blah. So she gave me credit, no problem. And then, so when I went there to talk about having a new dress made for the last tour, that's fall, it was hanging up. And I said, oh, I never saw it in person. So can I try it? Oh, and it fit me perfectly. All we had to do was take this bit out that she had tied at the front. And it was it felt like $1 million. Oh my God. It was so, the color and everything. And it was great. She's very talented. So anyway.
The colors in your artwork, they're magnificent, and they're so vibrant. I don't know how you do you get those colors like that? I mean, they really stand out.
Yeah. Well, it's paint. I don't. Well, the thing is,
you do anything special to make it? No.
Huh. Maybe it's my spirit going out in there. Every stroke. When I paint, as you know, when I'm painting, not a commission or something,
right?
Then it just, something pours out of me, and I have no idea. It flows. I don't know what's coming. I turn off somehow, and it's an amazing experience. And when it's finished, some of them are like, whoa, what is that? What is it? But then if I do a commission and somebody wants a painted song, then what I do is I ask them what that song means to them, and they write it down, and that's what I paint.
Oh, that's interesting.
Their feelings for the song. And so I've been doing that for a while now, and somebody told me a few years ago, I can't believe I've been painting for 21 years. Wow. It's like, where's the time gone? So some guy wrote to me, and he said, Annie, I think you've got I think I told Roger Dean this as well, a type of synesthesia. And it's like some people can write. There's a guy who he's the one who created the band, the Irish band, choral band Anuna. Heard them? Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. They're unbelievable. And Michael McGlynn is the, he's the director. He writes music. He's and the singers. He sings. All his family sings. His wife and 2 daughters. They're all part of this. Amazing. If anybody's never heard of them, you need to look them up. They're the best. They started off doing the music for Riverdance. Right. That's how I first heard of them. Yeah. And he told me that when he writes his music, it comes out in color. synesthesia in color. So synesthesia is like all the opposite things of how you the feelings and hearing and sight and all kinds of things. And this guy said, I think what you do is you're tuning in. And I feel it. I feel like I'm tuning into things without any. This is one I've done particularly recently called The Gardener, that this man commissioned me to do, and I didn't look it for a while because I was still getting over the tour, and so I hadn't started it. And one day I did a painting. I got a canvas 16 by 20, and I just started this painting, and it came out really vibrant. I can show it to you if you want me to. I can show it to you in a minute.
Okay, sure.
And it came out, and I thought, oh my God, I think I've just painted The Gardener. And it just kind of, without thinking, I didn't think. And then all of a sudden there's a green man in the middle of the painting.
Very cool. Okay, sure. I've never seen colors like that. That's beautiful.
Is it clear?
That is gorgeous.
In the middle is The Gardener.
I love it.
The sky and all these mountains, beautiful. Like abstract flowers.
Is that one for sale?
No, he commissioned me to do this on an 18 by 24 canvas, right?
Okay.
And so is it clear there?
Yes, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, and so he commissioned me to do it, and I didn't do it straight away. And then I had no thought of it. I mean, I knew that I had to do it. And then this one day, I got this 16 by 20 and started painting. And I thought, gosh, this is really pouring through easily. And then this man appeared in the middle. I thought, God, that's him. And he's got his hand out like this. You know, you can see that one hand particularly.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I don't know. I just it makes you feel good. That's probably why I'm doing it. You know, the colors.
How long did it take you to do that?
I don't know, a couple of days maybe.
Right.
Maybe a bit longer. Yeah, some take longer than others, obviously, you know, depending what they are. But it came quickly. I thought, oh, hang on a minute, this is and I didn't know. I hadn't got any plan of what I was going to do for him, because he's got his own landscaping company.
Oh, okay.
Right? So he's surrounded, and he's like, you know, he's working constantly. It's his business. So. And it's just him. He's wrapped right around. It's all wrapped around him, you know. So that was.
I'm eventually going to get you to paint me something. Also, I'll commission you.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to pick one of my favorite Renaissance songs, and
okay.
You can do it that way.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we did. We've still got the Indiegogo site is still up if anybody wants to have a look.
Good.
And it does help if people donate something, because it keeps you know, there's still bills to pay and things like that. But so it's still up. It's called the Legacy Tour, and I had a commission from this guy to paint Mother Russia, and I didn't put that up. I put another version of Ashes Are Burning, because I've done several versions of Ashes Are Burning for different people, and they're all different because everybody thinks of different ways of describing what the song does to them. So that's what I paint. They're all different. You know, it's not going to be the same painting. And I did Mother Russia, and I did it last year, and it was at the height of the Ukraine situation. And I thought, oh, how am I going to focus on this and not bring
that's true
about the song and I did speak to him about that. I said, I'm a bit concerned because it's so heavily on my mind, and I'm trying to not do that and just think about the song, but I couldn't do that. So in the end, I did this. It's not here. I don't have it. Obviously, it was an 18 by 24, and it has it's got the left-hand side of it is the Ukraine. It's got a flag up there.
Oh wow. It's
kind of surreal, but you can see it's a flag. And then I did this middle part, and I thought, what's this? It looks like a beach or a cornfield or something. And then there were sparks coming out of it. And then I realized at that time they were bombing the wheat fields or something out there, weren't they? And so that came out straight onto the canvas. Wow. And then I did these fields, and I did a couple of things that looked like cannons almost. Yeah, it's really interesting. And then there's the eye of God on the top, or the eye, the
Beautiful.
universe, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
with a tear looking down on all this. But it's very hopeful. It's
Yeah.
not like it's a drab, sad painting at
Right.
all. But that was really interesting. And I thought, oh God, I hope he likes this. And I sent it. He went nuts. He loved it. And then he had the Ashes of Burning was the first one. He had that's got everything in it.
You
That's got.
did Leonardo too, didn't you?
I've got a very strong connection with Leonardo da Vinci. There's no doubt.
But did you do a painting as well? The
Yeah.
Leonardo painting, right? What happened to that painting? Is that still
I've
around?
got.
Beautiful. Huh.
Yeah, it's funny because I went to see the movie, the
Yeah.
Da Vinci Code.
Right.
Um, you see that dragonfly there?
Yeah, I do.
I just put a bit of white paint on. I thought, well, maybe it's going to be a star, and it's almost like somebody taken my hand and started messing around with it.
Huh.
To be a dragonfly, and I didn't realize that he'd actually drawn and quite a few different styles of dragonflies. And then my ex-boyfriend put a kitchen floor down a couple of years ago, and he took this floor, the 2 layers of linoleum up, and when he took the last one up, that dragonfly, identical to it, was
You're
on the
kidding
floor.
me. Oh my
It
gosh.
was looked like it was in charcoal
Oh my goodness.
on the wood underneath the floor.
Wow.
I took a picture of it, and then that picture is still there, obviously. But I took a picture before I put the new floor down, and then I lost out all my pictures or something, and I lost the picture of it. But there's a lot of, and then I wrote that song "Symphony of Light" about
I
him,
love
which
that. I love
I'm
that
so
song.
proud of that song. My
Oh
God.
yeah. Are you kidding me? It's
Oh,
fantastic.
when we do a show, everybody says something happens to you when you get to that song, and
Yeah.
it does. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just glorious.
Yeah.
It's, and I looked online to see whether anybody had done anything for him, and I think there was a few
No.
jokes. Nothing really. No.
No. Huh.
No. My friend, I've got some friends who are in Paris now, actually in France, and they're going to where he is. I think that, they're doing some work on his what do you call it, a mausoleum? What do you call it when you? I think something like that.
Yeah.
They're doing the work, so that, it's not going to be possible to. But there is a bust of him right by there somewhere, and so they're going to put a red rose on there and a note from me.
Oh wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm serious.
I think he's already communicating with you anyway. So
I've seen his face at the back of the hall when I'm singing.
wow,
There's a lot of stuff.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Your artwork could be album covers like Roger Dean. You've got that same kind of, feel. And with all these great prog bands, I could see your artwork on their album covers,
A lot of people do it
cool.
themselves these days, or they copy other people's, or they use. I've had my art used, but without my permission. But you can't fight it. How can you fight it?
You can't.
It's awful. I mean, I wouldn't like their karma.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they'll suffer for stealing. You can't do that. But anyway, that's people.
They steal from me too. My books are on eBay. I don't know how they got on eBay, but they're selling my books on eBay, and they're saying that I signed them, and I didn't sign them. Come on.
No, I remember
some money.
I did a show, and somebody came. He wasn't going to come to the show because he said he couldn't make the show, but he wanted me to sign just my autograph on these albums. My friend Krista at the time said, "Annie, don't sign them." He goes around to all the places, gets them, and then he sells them.
He sells them. Yeah. I just want to mention, besides the scars, you also do pick guards, which I love. You did beautiful pick guards and guitars. And you do a great job. I don't know how you do guitars.
I can show you a guitar just in the middle of. Right?
Yeah. Oh my God, look at that.
So
That
I've
is
only got the back,
gorgeous.
I've got the back and the sides so far.
Wow. Is that your guitar or is that commission?
No, you know, I've had this one a long time. When I started doing them, is it clear enough?
Yes, it's beautiful. The colors are incredible.
Yeah,
Look at that.
yeah. I when I started doing, somebody contacted me and said, "Can you paint guitars?" And I thought, "No, but I will." I'll have a go, and that's when I started. And
Gorgeous.
I painted it with oil paint, and cool, my God, it just wouldn't dry. And I
Yeah.
learned, yeah, it was, the word, and but it did in the end. And then after that, I went to a local place, I think it's called a Guitar Barn,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought 10 for $100, old ones. Made sure that they were all clean, and they
Mm-hmm.
got the
Mm-hmm.
bits and pieces on, and there were no cracks.
Right.
And I painted them, and four of them went to Hard Rock Cafe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I drove down to Florida
Mm-hmm.
to their headquarters, and because I got an email one day from them, and I think they sent it out to all kinds of musicians saying, "Have you got any memorabilia you'd like to sell for Hard Rock cafes?" And
Mm-hmm.
so I thought, oh well, I've got my Scheherazade dress that's sitting there that's just gathering dust. Why it was, which is true. Why keep things like that? But
Yeah.
anyway, I sent a picture of that. Sent a picture of a student guitar I'd painted, and I called it Jupiter. That was lovely. That one I painted a picture of that, and something else, and I got an email back straight away from, I think, a guy called Don Bernstein. What a
Mm-hmm.
nice man. And he said, "I want four of them." I want four
Nice.
of the guitars. And so I'd already done three others, or two other. No, yeah, I had, because I'd done one. It was Janis Joplin, and the other one was
Mm.
Jimi Hendrix. What was it? Fire in the Sky. I can't remember the titles now, but they were definitely in the guitars. There's
Mm-hmm.
no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So I did four of them, and I decided to drive down. So I drove down, and then I got the car train on the way back. It was
Right.
but I went down. It was an adventure. I went down there, and I go into the building, and to take the four guitars in there, and he opened them up, and he was like, "Oh good God, oh good." And he called everybody in all the different offices. You've got to come and look at these guitars. And so they bought four of them from me. One of them
Wow.
ended up in Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
another one in San Diego,
Mm.
uh, and then two in Biloxi.
Okay.
But the two in Biloxi got lost in Katrina.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, they got lost in Katrina.
Huh.
Yeah.
Which Hard
So
Rock in Florida did you go to?
I went to the main building, the headquarters of Hard Rock,
Was that in
Orlando.
in Orlando?
Orlando,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's where all the offices,
Okay.
corporate
I have
offices.
connections with the Tampa Hard
Oh,
Rock.
okay, yeah. And I went
Yeah.
in. I think they've got James Dean's motorbike in
Oh.
the lobby, and then after the we did the business. He said, "Come down. Do you want to see? Do you want to go and see what we've got?" Yes, please. Go down into this room, and oh my God, it was like
Mm.
it was huge, and it
Yeah.
had all these unbelievable guitars. Paul McCartney's guitar, Freddie Mercury's white suit.
Wow.
That yeah, your Brinner's hat, from the King in Arthur, all these different things. Everyone, I wanted to try everything on. Oh my God, it was amazing. So
Mm.
that was really yeah, the guitars. And then I did a guitar for Martin Guitars in
Martin.
Nazareth
Sure.
here for their museum. It was called
Mm.
Miles and Miracles, Miles of Miracles and Milestones, I think it was called. Yeah,
Mm.
and they put that in their museum, and
Nice.
then they commissioned me. I donated it. I didn't sell it. I just, I thought I'd like to be in that museum. It's
Sure.
Big Boat was the guy in charge, and the main guy there, and he loved the guitars, and then I was commissioned to do a playable one. The playable one I could only paint the front and the headstock.
Right.
Because then it starts changing the sound. You get the paint, you can't do it.
Have you ever played a hard rock?
No.
Because the one in Tampa, I mean, they've Rod Stewart came there. I interviewed Ann Wilson from Heart. She was there. I mean, they got some great people there. I know all the people in Tampa.
We really need to be in a concert situation rather than a club place.
Well, it's pretty big actually. The setup is pretty big.
Right. I mean, we did do some shows in Florida. When was that?
Been a while. I think Ruth Eckerd, didn't you? Were you at Ruth Eckerd in Clearwater?
That's right. Yeah, we did somewhere in Miami, I think.
Right, I remember.
We did about 4 shows down there.
Well, we miss you in Florida.
No, I came. When did I come down to see my? I came down there. I told you I was coming down there. See, when was it?
Yeah, we were supposed to have lunch.
Was it 2000?
It's been a while now, I think.
Because I delivered a painting to somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
And I went to see Patrick Moraz, Patrick and Phyllis down there.
Yeah, I love Patrick.
Yeah, and I want to go. Yeah, I want to go down again. It's just I need to. I really got to focus on what I'm going to do now, though. I
had lunch with Corky Lang not long ago. Remember Corky Lang from Mountain? Remember the band Mountain?
I know the name, but I
drummer.
don't know.
Wes Bruce and Lang. Yeah. We have lunch every once in a while. He's a good guy.
Oh,
Him and his wife.
Yeah.
Him and his girlfriend, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he lives in New York, and his girlfriend's from Finland. She's a PhD, and she works in very, very smart. She's his manager now.
Is he playing still?
Yeah, he still plays. He still plays the music of Mountain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's the only one left from the band. Leslie West passed away.
I know how that feels. The last woman standing here.
I know. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you talked to Roy lately or no?
I haven't.
No?
Every now and again we get in touch, but I haven't not recently.
Yeah. I like to interview Roy, but I went to his website. He hasn't updated his website in such a long time.
I know. Well, he's a bit like it's difficult to do stuff, really. I mean, I know he does his Christmas show every year,
right?
But I don't know.
He doesn't have any information as far as contacting him either. So he's chilling. I think he's chilling.
Yeah. I mean, I think. Well, he's about the same age as me, I think. But who knows? He's had some really fabulous bands as well. He doesn't like to go out with 3 or 4 people. It's got to be like 10 or 12.
Right.
Saxophones and everything like that. He's a genius.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant. I was reading an article or an interview or something about when you met Daphne du Maurier.
Oh, Daphne du Maurier, yes.
Du Maurier, that's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. She wrote Rebecca. That amazing movie, and also The Birds. Mm-hmm. Alfred Hitchcock made into a movie. She wrote that story. Yeah. She lived in. Now, did she pass away? Gosh.
Didn't she live near you when you had?
She lived very near to me.
Yeah.
And she, when I lived in Cornwall, when in my teenage years, she lived down this winding road, right further down. I mean, we lived right by the sea, but up a hill, on top of a hill. And she lived. You carry on, and she lived at a place called Menabilly. And the house was fashioned on the house that they used in for. Rebecca was kind of fashioned on that originally. I think she wrote the story there. But later on in years, then I would say in the 90s, am I thinking about the 90s? Yeah, I think the late 90s. I went over to England and saw a friend of mine, and we decided to go down to Cornwall to see Betty Thatcher, right? And she where I lived was like about an hour away from Betty's, so we stopped off where I used to live, and it
Right.
was we didn't go to the house, but we were right outside it, and opposite my where I lived, there was a gateway to a field, and you could see the top of this house in the distance, and it was called Kilmarth. It
Mm,
was a house called Kilmarth, and what she did is when she moved from Menabilly, she bought this house in this house particularly, and she wrote a book called The House on the Strand.
right.
Apparently some people in the area told me as well that that house was haunted, and it had all these passages and everything that went down to the
Hmm.
Paul Kelly's Beach, which was lower down, and there was all the pirate stuff and things like that
Very
happened.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I was looking, and we were standing by this gate, and the field, the grass was kind of high. I mean, it was a beautiful day,
Hmm.
and all of a sudden we saw this image of somebody walking up towards us from the other side of the field, and she came up and she started talking to us. Oh my God!
Just an image, not a real person.
You know, it was her.
Oh, it was her.
It was her. No, she left the ghost. But yeah, they were all back at the house.
I'm thinking ghost.
No, no, no. Yeah, no. So yeah, oh my gosh, it was so wonderful.
That
No,
is
yeah,
so cool.
so surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. She was lovely. Yeah, and I'm sure she's passed away now. I
Yeah.
know they have a Du Maurier festival in Foy, which is
Mm.
was the nearest little town to where we were, and
Hmm.
they have one every year, the Du Maurier festival, or
Yeah.
it could be definitely Du Maurier festival, but it's a music festival they do down there, and or an arts festival, different
Right.
things. You know, yeah, it was a beautiful area down
Mm.
there. Yeah.
I talk to Jim McCarty from time to time. Have you read his book?
I
About
think I'm
him?
in it. Am I in it? I'm in one of. They told me I'm in one of them. I
Well,
love the title. The title of the new one is what?
let me see. Where is it? I got it back here.
It's very.
Um,
It's like an English say. It's very funny.
it's about him channeling, with his wife, that
Oh,
kind of
really?
thing. Yeah, yeah, things like that. My wife loves the book.
I didn't know you
It,
did
it,
that.
yeah. He actually can speak with his wife. His wife who passed away.
I
So
know. Well,
yeah,
that happened. Yeah, I flew him over for the 2019 tour.
really.
I flew him over, and we did Ireland together.
Oh yeah.
I
Okay.
got the job. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? He was on stage with us with orchestra
Yeah.
doing Ireland. It was
Mm,
ridiculous. It was just come full circle completely.
mm.
What a lovely man. He's fantastic.
He's cool. He's
Yeah,
very cool. I like it. We did a Zoom interview
yeah,
together as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah. We talked about Keith, you know.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
met him. I met Keith. He was at my audition. That's the only time I met him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
that was a good band they had too. Keith was in that band Armageddon, which was a good band, too.
Oh, was he in that? Oh,
Yeah, it was a kind of a prog rock band, as a matter of fact.
hmm.
I like Keith Relf. He was a great, and I think Jane is his
Oh, Jane had a
sister,
lovely
right?
voice as well.
Or
Yeah,
is his
yeah.
sister or wife?
And
I
his
can't.
sister.
Sister, that's right.
Jane Roth, yeah. Louis
Yeah,
Sinaldo was on bass. John Hawking was on piano.
yeah,
Jim on drums. Keith guitar. Yeah, they
yeah.
started it all.
Yeah.
If it
Oh,
wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here talking to you.
I was,
And they came from Yardbirds, didn't they? Another great
yes,
band.
I was, I was kidding Jim. I would say, man, you've bounced around from a lot of different bands because he was in Box of Frogs too, and he says, yeah,
Books.
he said, what's the matter with me? I can't stay with one band. What's wrong with me? Speaking of frogs, what's going on with your frog orchestra?
Oh, you mean Frogstock?
Frogstock, yeah.
Frogstock. I was up at Rave's studio the other day, finishing all the production on these CDs that are coming
Right.
out, and I got back, and there they were singing, and I couldn't get it all together. It was too late. Couldn't get the tickets together and all that.
Really?
Oh,
That's funny.
There were lots of painted turtles there.
Yeah.
The beautiful geese are still around, even though they get chased off. But they seem to like me.
Hmm.
I'm Mother Goose.
Your mother goose.
Mother Goose.
Well, you'll be very happy. I kissed a llama the other day.
Oh,
Very sweet and gentle animals, and these
beautiful.
llamas didn't spit, which I'm very thankful for. But it
Yeah,
was,
no, I love it. And I can't kill it. If I find anything in the house, like this little new cat I just got,
yeah,
Opal. I mean, she was from a hoarding situation,
right.
and so she wasn't really used to people or anything. And so and she had a skin condition because she wasn't fed properly and all
Right.
this. And it's my other cat Alice doesn't like her very much, but I think that this slowly it's going to get better. I can feel it.
Hmm.
Um, but I noticed that there was like there's some big ants in my house. Not many of them. I saw the other. How the hell did that? Well, I'm surrounded by trees and grass and everything, but
Yeah.
uh, and she was like, I had to keep going around and finding them and putting them outside. And there was one in my bedroom that must have been about an eighth of an inch long, and I thought
Wow.
she was looking at it like, I'm going to get that, and I thought, oh shit, I got a piece of paper. Oh no, I
Mhm.
got a piece of floss.
Floss.
Floss,
Huh.
fresh from the thing,
Hmm.
and I put it on the floor, and it was the wide floss, so I got it flat. On
That's
my hand,
funny.
she's doing this, and I got it on there, and then it fell off.
Yeah.
Then I got it on there again, and I got it a tiny little thing, and
Huh.
the cats, I'm telling bugger off, you can't. And I got it, and I put it on a leaf outside. It probably got
Oh,
eaten straight away, but at least
yeah.
it didn't die inside my cat.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. So sorry to hear about Angel, your poodle.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I know how that is because we've
Oh, it
lost
was an awful
dogs in the
time.
past, and it's so hard,
Yeah,
you
because they're
know.
part of the family.
Yeah. My mom had toy poodles, and she had an apricot as well.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. Yeah. Brandy and Candy. She had Brandy and Candy, two of
Yeah.
them. Yeah. Yeah. So and they're good dogs. They're very, very good dogs. Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to mention something because when you started off and you did the bio thing,
Hmm.
you were talking about Michael Dunford writing, but Betty Thatcher did all the words.
Okay.
Yeah, magnificent words, as you know.
Right.
And also the other guys in the band wrote. Terry Sullivan wrote, that beautiful beginning part in Song for All Seasons.
Yes.
He wrote that.
Wow.
Terry
Huh.
came up with that. Yeah. And
That's great.
maybe more. Yeah, the credit wasn't given to everybody else in the band so much, really, as it
Yeah.
should have. In the early days, it was all, but of
Yep.
course, Betsy's lyrics, there's nothing like them. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
I want to mention the current band. It's you, Rave, right? Mark Lampert,
Yeah.
Frank Pagano,
Yeah.
Leo Traversa,
Yeah.
and Jeffrey Langley, right? Is that
Yes.
still the band?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Annie, what else you got? Is there anything we missed?
Oh God, I don't know.
I try to cover
Um,
everything.
yeah, no, I think yeah, it's great. The album, there is an album coming out, and you said, is there? Well, yes, there is. It's a live album. It's
Okay.
going to be it's, with the orchestra. It's fantastic. Oh my
I
God.
know. I know. The orchestra
Oh
is
my
wonderful.
God. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just costs so much, but we've done it now with the help of, the fans. It's all down to
Hmm.
the fans. So thank you,
Yeah.
everybody out there, really. Um, and so we'll do as much music as we can. See what happens in the future. I don't know,
Hmm.
I mean, I'd love to go on forever, but I don't want to think, yeah, I see the carpet of the sun. I don't want to sing like that because I can't sing. Some people who do that,
You
some
don't like
people.
to do that song, do you? Carpet of the
I
Sun?
love it. No, no, no. I
Oh,
love it.
okay.
I'm just
Okay.
saying,
Because I love that song.
if I can't sing it properly, I'm not going to go out there with a stick and and a pair of well, I've worn glasses on the stage before now. I had cataract surgery now. That's fine. Really amazing. I'm glad I got it just in time. I think
Mm.
really. So yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. You'll
There-
meanwhile
there-
you'll be painting. You'll be doing
I'm
more
going to be
painting.
painting. If
Yeah.
anybody wants commissions, I
Okay.
can whatever.
I'll pick a song. I'm going to look for my favorite song, and could
Yeah,
be
yeah.
Carpet of. Have you done Carpet of the Sun yet?
Yeah, I've done about 4 of them, I think, but
Have
they're
you?
all different.
They're all
Yeah,
different. Good.
but they're all different because I'm doing it for the person. I'm painting the person's feelings for the song.
Okay, because I do like that song.
It's well, yes, right. It's easy to. I mean, what we did the last few years, we've been starting the tour, the set off with it because everybody just joins in, and it just
Yeah.
straight away puts everybody in a great mood. Yeah.
I like the you sung that. I think it was a midnight special. It's still out there
Yeah.
on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very bad version of it, though. I mean, visually, it's like,
Yeah. It wasn't bad.
but
I
it's
liked it.
yeah, that was exciting, actually.
Yeah.
Like,
You're just so used to having an orchestra behind you now. So,
well, we started in 2017,
yeah.
and you know, we were approached by the director of the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra when Mickey was still alive, and he sent me an email, and he said, Annie, he said, you know, we were talking about you, and I wondered whether you'd like to do some more shows with us.
Hmm.
Can you imagine the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra calling you up?
That's incredible.
People,
Yeah.
it's the other way around.
Yes.
You know, it was unbelievable. But what happened in the end is, you know, Mickey passed away. It didn't get done then because we just couldn't find a way. And then we had a meeting. Ray Tessa and myself had a meeting with Ian McClay, who was the director then, and in London, just when we finished our English tour. That was 2016, and we went through everything, you know, the budget and what we would need and how many people we'd need in the orchestra, and we mulled it over, and it was like, oh gosh, you know, how we could do a project, an Indiegogo play. Well, how are we going to get this money together? So I remember he said that we could play the Cadogan, the home of the Royal Philharmonic now. The home base is the Cadogan Hall in London, but I would love to have done the Albert Hall, but we already did it.
Yeah.
That's why it didn't happen. But anyway, we looked into it, and we went through all the numbers and everything, and then Rave said, you know what? Why don't we get our own orchestra together and do it over here? A small, you know, small, obviously, instead of like 40 or 50 people, it was 10.
Yeah.
But we had what we needed.
Right.
You know, we had strings, we had wind instruments, we had percussion. You know, we had everything that we needed in those 10 people. Well, you've heard it, haven't you?
Yeah.
And so we did it ourselves.
Yeah.
And it came out fantastic. And I think I sent a copy to Ian, and he was really happy for us. I said, you know, obviously do it, but to be asked, by them was just a wonderful feeling.
I love to see you guys. I think didn't you do a castle? Didn't you guys play at a castle once, or no?
Never. That's
See,
Richie
you need to
Blackmore.
play in a castle.
Which one?
I don't know. There's so many. Kind of a
Well, that's
medieval, you know.
Yeah, Richie Blackmore does that, doesn't
That'd
he?
be awesome. Like Pink Floyd did Pompeii. You know, you need to do something like that. That'd be a live show like that.
Well,
you know?
yeah, I was looking into us doing a place called Baalbek, which is a ruins outside of Beirut, and I went there once. When I was with Miles Copeland, we went to for a holiday there, and we went to see a singer called Sabah, Sabah, do a with an orchestra, with a Middle Eastern orchestra. Oh, you imagine the sounds were so different.
I love that sound. I love that sound.
And so we went, and it was in the grounds of Baalbek, and there's like all these ruins everywhere. And I remember she started off with a single note, and I think we did this on one of our albums, on the Tuscany album. I wanted to do something like that. One of the songs starts off with me singing with it was like a violin, a note with a violin, something. But she did this with this. It was a Middle Eastern sound, and she starts off with this note, this high note. That's how she starts the off, and I'm going crazy because I'm thinking that's just, it's like me, oh my God. She was pretty older. Well, she wasn't really old then, actually, maybe in her 50s, maybe a bit older, but it was phenomenal. And it's always stuck in my mind to do that. And then there was somebody that was going to get in touch that had some contact with the people that there's a festival that happens there, or did before the pandemic, whether it's still happening or not, I don't know. And this festival that we could have been on part of that festival.
What country is this?
In Lebanon.
Oh, Lebanon. Wow.
That was Lebanon. And so
very cool.
It didn't happen though, but it was one experience I'll never forget,
I grew up, my dad's family's from Syria. So I grew up with Kulthum. She's a Egyptian singer, very famous Egyptian singer. And Lebanon has Farouz. Farouz is a big singer out in Lebanon. She's another legend. But I love Arabic music, and you got that voice for it too. You can definitely do it.
Yeah, I can do the breaks and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be so different, wouldn't it?
I wish there was several years that nothing happened with us and everything. And I wish. Yeah. I'd done more, but I did have my solo band, and we went to Japan and Brazil.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
It did happen.
Yeah.
My life is as it's meant to be. I don't regret anything happening.
You've done a lot in your life. You can't.
It's like, I'm overqualified for this lifetime, really.
Yeah. But you still look wonderful. You still got all your energy. So,
Yeah. I feel good. Yeah. Even though Mercury's in retrograde, so my advice to everybody is not worry about it and just stay calm and be patient with everything that you do. I think that's the important thing, and not push things.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I've been talking a lot about health with rock stars. I just talked to Mark Farner, because he stays in good shape. He's got a big garden out. Him and his wife, Mark Farner, from Grand Funk, guitar player, and he's always kept in pretty good shape, but he did have heart surgery like 2 years ago, and he almost died. But you just never know, but the health thing comes up a lot, especially as you get older,
I think that, with what's going on, it's just, I think the most important thing is we have to stay positive no matter what.
Exactly.
No matter what.
You're right. It's tough to stay positive in today's world. It really is.
Stay in touch with friends and family, help people.
Don't watch the news.
That's difficult, isn't it? It's
so negative, isn't it?
You want to stay informed.
Yeah.
But
it's all negative. They never post anything positive, there's some great things that happen in this world, and they never talk about it.
Yeah. No, they should put something positive in at least parts of the program. But
there's a lot of good deeds out there,
Yeah.
Annie, thank you for being on the show. Last time we were trying to do a Zoom, there was technical difficulties, and we had to do an audio. Yes. Remember?
Yes. When was that?
It's been a while now, but a couple of years maybe, right? That's when I was with BBS Radio.
That's right.
We had some technical issues, but I'm not with them anymore, and I'm in total control, so it'll never happen again.
And you're in Sarasota, right?
I'm in Sarasota, yeah.
So, yeah. Well, next time I come down, I'll make sure that
we'll have lunch, definitely.
Yeah, I'd like to come down. I've got Patrick and Phyllis, and I got these other people down there that are really lovely people that have delivered this 3 foot by 6 foot painting. I think it was. They just fit in my car. I delivered. I told you that.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it was. Well, to send it would have been like at least 1,000. I said, give me, what it would cost to mail it, and I'll bring it down by hand. Yes, please. I stayed with them and everything. It was great. Yeah.
I've been wanting to see Mike, Patrick. Does he live in Clearwater? I forgot where he lives, but I've talked to him, and he works with Michael Franklin. Who's a producer,
right?
And Michael has a studio out in Orlando, and we talk a lot. he always brings me artists, and I promote his the albums he's working on and whatever. He's working with John Anderson now on 1,000 Hands 2, which is coming out at the end of this year.
Right.
But yeah, I'm supposed to get together with Michael and Patrick. That's, but everybody's busy. It's hard to get together. It's tough.
I think it's harder than it used to be.
It is harder than it used to. You're right.
The pandemic, everybody's minds are
Their mindset's totally different. You're right.
It is. Yeah.
Annie, thank you for being on the show. Keep in contact. Good luck with the art.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll find a song. It might be Carpet of the Sun, but I'll commission you, and hopefully you'll make me when you're fantastic.
My website information.
I do. I've got all the information. I'm good.
Yeah. Facebook and all that stuff.
I do.
There's too many things. I joined Instagram, but I can't do it all. I think, oh God, I've got to put something up, and then the phone goes, and I've got to do something else,
Then every time you conquer a social media site, a new one pops up. It's hard to keep up. It really is.
It is. It's a lot of stuff.
Thanks, Annie.
Okay, well, thank you, Ray. Yeah, let's stay in touch.
Good to talk to you again.
Oh, you too, as well. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.